Okay, trying a new camera angle, give you a better view of the fretboard. I'm going to cover something today that I've been meaning to get done for a while, and it deals with the blues lessons that we were working on. Now, we covered the 5 positions of the pentatonic scale. What we're going to talk about here today is just the blues scale. And one of the things that I've noticed talking to guys is that they tend to get stuck in this first position. And this happens a lot. I used to do this a lot too, where you know the first position. So you're playing a solo in A, and you stay in this box. The hard thing that everybody seems to have is breaking out of this box and moving around on the fretboard, getting some nice linear movement. So what we're going to show you today here, and this is really simple to learn, is 2 real quick patterns that basically open up the fretboard, and it's easier to remember where you are. One of the things I really liked about learning this was that your accent notes, or the notes you tend to pause on, usually tend to be the root notes, which is your octaves. So the pattern we're going to learn, I'm going to use the blues scale, which just gives you the blue note. It's basically exactly the same as the pentatonic, pentatonic being the blues notes in these are this one, and that's it. So the finger positions that we want to learn is the first octave of this. So what we're going to do is play 1-4, 1-2-3, 1-3. That's it. That's the whole pattern. 1-4, 1-2-3, 1-3. Now where this gets kind of neat is that this note right here is an A. This note is an A. So if we take this A note and instead of ending it here, we put our index finger here, we go 1-4, 1-2-3, 1-4, which of course doesn't sound right because we crossed the B string. Because of the way the guitar is tuned, the B string needs to be shifted up a half a fret. So it should be 1-4, 1-2-3, the shift, 1-3. Remember, when you're coming back down, you got to shift back down. So all of a sudden now we're not stuck here, we can also go here to the. So some of you are probably wondering, well, where did this come from? That's not part of that octave. This is. This would be the same if I was playing it here. The first set of notes, I played it up to the octave, and the next notes in the same pattern are, which you already know. So here I can go. Or, ending on this note, this would be an A note, I can actually start the pattern again here and go 1-4, 1-2-3. Now I don't have another string, so I would have to shift up to here and play those notes. So now I've got from the 5th fret all the way up here to the 15th. That's a whole bunch of the neck to play around on. So it's. So if you're moving up the fretboard, you just learn that first pattern, and whatever your root note is, or your octave, you know where you can move to. Now moving down the fretboard would be a little bit different. There's one pattern to learn for this too. Moving down the fretboard, we start with our ring finger, and the pattern is 3, 1, 3, 4, and then we shift down a half step or a fret and go 1, 4, and then 1. So it's. Now where this gets kind of neat is that because we know these 2 patterns, if I were to be playing here and I wanted to move down, so if I started here again, just to keep things simple and went, Now, I can't go down any further because I'm out of frets, but what I can do, because this is also an A, this is my octave again, is I can start that first pattern again. Do the B string shift. So now I can move around, and this is the beauty of this, is that you can shift between patterns based off of which finger you're starting on. Same as if I'm playing here, and I go, well, I'm on my ring finger already, I can go. Now because of the B string, I don't actually shift down. Which should look really familiar if you're used to playing in, oops. So by learning a down moving shape, moving down the fretboard, and a shape that moves up the fretboard, just these two different shapes, we've now opened up basically the whole neck. Because no matter where we end, I know that this is an A, well, I can continue my normal pattern from here. Or if I wanted to play from here, starting with my ring finger, it's so basically the whole fretboard's open just by learning these two patterns. And here's a helpful hint, just from having been playing around and listening to a lot of guys lately. One of the things I've noticed that really seems to separate the boys from the men, and I hate to say it that way, is the ability to hang back. It's not a race to see how many notes you can play, especially with the blues. There's times when it's good to turn it up and, you know, put in a flurry of notes. The one thing that I picked up listening to a lot of guys and listening to a lot of blues lately is that the thing you want to strive for, or that I tend to, is making each and every note say something. You know, getting as much emotion out of each note as you can, either by use of vibrato or picking notes when they, you know, when they come in. And one of the best things to do to really give it that extra oomph when you're playing is to lay back. If the progression's, you know, in 4/4 and you're playing along and having a great old time, instead of coming right in on that first beat with your, you know, a big bend or something, hang back just for a split second and come in just a split second late, and you'll find that it actually has more punch and it seems to sound more, it sounds better. So that's something to do. And the other thing is really work on your vibrato and get a really expressive vibrato, something that really lets the guitar sing. Okay, so on that note, let's see some blues stuff, guys. Okay, rip it up.